God created the human body as a highly tuned physical engine of immense power. It is a remarkable creation that requires fuel to keep running smoothly. This fuel, of course, is known as food. God instilled in us an innate appetite for food, commonly known as hunger, to ensure that our bodies receive the nourishment they need to function properly. Food not only satisfies our appetites but also provides us with the energy necessary to sustain life. It is a crucial part of nature's balance, keeping everything in motion. In modern times, it may seem perplexing as to why someone would willingly choose to go hungry. We are conditioned to eat 3 meals a day and are constantly reminded that a hearty breakfast is the foundation of a productive day. From our school days, we were taught the importance of eating 3 full meals and exercising to stay strong and healthy. So, why would anyone choose to skip meals? In the world, the act of not eating is often referred to as dieting, and many people do it in order to lose weight or for health reasons. However, there are those who abstain from eating for spiritual purposes. This practice is commonly known as fasting and is mentioned in the Bible. Fasting involves voluntarily refraining from food for a defined period of time in order to achieve a spiritual goal. An example of fasting can be found in the Old Testament. Once a year, the Jewish faithful were required to observe a fast on the 10th day of the 7th month, known as the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. This solemn occasion required everyone to afflict their souls and refrain from work. The purpose of this fast was to remember and reflect on the experience of salvation. On the Day of Atonement, the high priest would enter the Holy of Holies and offer sacrifices for the sins of the people. By fasting, the people identified with the high priest and the sacrificial lamb that was offered for the forgiveness of their sins. Jesus also spoke about fasting and instructed his disciples on how to approach it. In the book of Matthew, Jesus said, "When you fast, do not look somber as the hypocrites do, for they disfigure their faces to show others they are fasting. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face, so that it will not be obvious to others that you are fasting, but only to your Father, who is unseen, and your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you." Matthew 6:16-18. Jesus cautioned against fasting for public acclaim and emphasized the importance of fasting as a personal, private commitment between an individual and God. Fasting is not meant to be a showy display of religious devotion. Instead, it is intended as a spiritual discipline that strengthens one's faith and deepens their connection with God. Many people have concerns or reservations about fasting, especially if they have never done it before. The idea of going without food for any period of time can be daunting, and there are various concerns that may arise. Some individuals worry about feeling hungry and whether the hunger pains will be unbearable. Others may question their ability to endure a fast and hesitate to embark on a journey they may not complete. There are also concerns about how friends and others will perceive them if they choose to fast. However, it is important to remember that fasting is a personal commitment to God and should not be undertaken to impress others. Jesus specifically advised his disciples to maintain a normal appearance and not draw attention to their fasting. Fasting is not the same as dieting or abstaining from food for health reasons. It is a spiritual practice that involves temporarily abstaining from a bodily desire, usually food, in order to prioritize a spiritual need. During a fast, rather than consuming food, one dedicates themselves to secret prayer and seeking God's intervention in various areas of life. Fasting is a biblical discipline that can help individuals improve their spiritual fitness and become prayer warriors for God. It is important to note that fasting is just one of the many disciplines of the Christian faith. Christians are called to develop spiritual strength through various exercises and practices. Fasting is a means to deepen one's relationship with God and seek His guidance and intervention in specific areas. Jesus acknowledged the importance of fasting as a legitimate spiritual discipline and encouraged His disciples to engage in it. Embarking on a fast for the first time can be intimidating, but it is a step of faith that God honors. starting small is often recommended, allowing oneself to gradually acclimate to the experience. God is not only concerned with the act of fasting, but also with the heart and attitude behind it. Just as a marriage proposal is not solely determined by its length but by the sincerity and love behind it, the same applies to fasting. The length of the fast is not the primary focus, rather, it is the heart's response and dedication to seeking God's presence and guidance. Fasting is a personal commitment and can be done in private, without the need to announce it to others. It can be a time of self-reflection, prayer, and seeking God's direction. It is important to approach fasting with a humble and sincere heart, focusing on the spiritual benefits rather than any physical discomfort. While fasting is a spiritual practice, it is essential to consider one's physical health and limitations. Individuals with certain medical conditions such as diabetes or eating disorders should consult with a healthcare professional before attempting a fast. It is crucial to prioritize one's well-being and ensure that fasting is done safely and responsibly. In summary, fasting is a spiritual discipline that involves voluntarily abstaining from food for a defined period of time. It is a personal commitment between an individual and God, intended to deepen one's spiritual connection and seek God's guidance. Fasting should be approached with sincerity, humility, and a focus on the spiritual benefits rather than any physical discomfort. It is also important to consider one's physical health and consult with a healthcare professional if necessary. Don't worry about the duration of your fast. Instead, focus on maintaining a strong relationship with God. He knows everything, understands your heart, and values the sincerity of your prayers more than their length. If you've never fasted before, it's best to start with a simple fast, such as skipping one meal. In the Old Testament, the Jews were required to fast for 1 day on Yom Kippur each year. A day in the Jewish calendar begins at sunset and ends at sunset the following day. Consider starting your fast at sunset or just before. This means you will skip the usual evening meal, as well as breakfast and lunch the next day. Most Jews broke their fast by eating a normal meal after sunset. Although private prayer and fasting are the foundation of intercession, if you're new to fasting, you might find it helpful to have a companion. If you are fasting for a specific answer to prayer, invite someone to join you in prayer and fasting. There is strength in numbers. As Jesus said in Matthew 18, "Truly I tell you, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Again, truly I tell you that if 2 of you on earth agree about anything you ask for, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven." These verses emphasize the power of agreement and commitment between individuals. Just as planning a vacation with someone makes the experience more memorable, sharing the fasting journey with another person can enhance your prayers and provide support. Fasting with a companion also gives you someone to discuss your doubts, questions, and fears with. If fasting seems intimidating, having a partner can help you overcome those challenges. You can also call each other for advice and encouragement throughout the fast. Celebration is an important part of fasting with a companion. When you achieve a goal alone, the victory is solely yours. However, when you accomplish something with others, there are many people to celebrate with. The taste of victory becomes even sweeter when you can share it with someone who understands your journey. Additionally, fasting with a friend establishes accountability. Knowing that someone is aware of your fasting can help you resist temptations and stay committed. Before you begin your fast, reflect on the purpose behind it. Take the time to delve deep into your heart and discover why you're fasting. There are countless reasons for fasting, and it's important to identify your own. Just like young David who faced Goliath, you need a compelling reason to confront the challenges that come with fasting. Write down your reasons on paper to solidify your commitment and maintain focus. Approach your fast with a plan. Don't enter into it casually or with a careless attitude. Plan for success. If you don't plan, you're more likely to fail. Don't participate in a fast just to see how far you can go or to test your limits. Make a firm commitment to fast for a day, regardless of the circumstances. By committing to seek God for your cause, you demonstrate your dedication and reliance on His grace and help. There are different types of fasts mentioned in the Bible. The absolute fast involves abstaining from both food and water. This type of fast is extreme and typically undertaken in times of deep distress or when seeking resolution for severe problems, such as deliverance from addiction or protection against spiritual adversaries. However, for your first fast, it is not recommended to undertake an absolute fast. A more common type of fast is the normal fast, where you abstain from solid food but consume liquids. In biblical times, fasting often referred to abstaining from solid food, with the matter of drinking liquids left unmentioned. This normal fast is suitable for most individuals and situations. Remember, fasting is not merely about abstaining from food. It is about fasting with a purpose. Take time to understand why you are fasting and what you hope to achieve through it. By clarifying your intentions and aligning your heart with God's will, your fasting experience will be more meaningful and transformative. Don't worry about the length of your fast, but focus on maintaining a strong relationship with God. Consider starting with a simple fast, and if possible, find a companion to fast and pray with. Write down your reasons for fasting to maintain focus, and approach your fast with a plan and commitment. Finally, remember that fasting is not just about abstaining from food, but about fasting with a purpose and seeking God with all your heart. In Luke 4:2, there is no mention of Jesus drinking liquids during fasting. This raises the question of what people drink when they fast. Many individuals choose to cut out pleasurable drinks like soda and various types of fruit juices. This practice corresponds to the Old Testament description of afflicting oneself and fasting, as mentioned in Isaiah 58. Different types of fasting exist, including partial fasts and specific fasts, such as the Daniel fast. Additionally, historical figures like John Wesley incorporated fasting into their spiritual practices. In this article, we will delve deeper into the spiritual significance of fasting, explore various types of fasting, and provide guidance for choosing an appropriate fast. Fasting has been practiced for centuries across different religions and spiritual traditions. It involves abstaining from food or certain types of food for a specific period. While fasting is often associated with physical benefits, such as detoxification and improved health, its primary focus lies in the spiritual realm. Fasting is a means to deepen one's connection with the divine, seek spiritual growth, and demonstrate discipline and self-control. Types of fasting. 1. Partial fast. This fast involves eliminating certain liquids or solids, but not all. It aligns with the description of afflicting oneself in the Old Testament. The Daniel fast, named after the biblical figure Daniel, is a popular example. Daniel and his friends chose to eat only vegetables and drink water, avoiding the rich foods from the king's table. This partial fast allowed them to nourish their bodies while demonstrating their commitment to God. 2. John Wesley's fast. John Wesley, the founder of the Methodist movement, practiced fasting as a means to prepare spiritually for conferences. He fasted for 10 days before each meeting, consuming only natural whole grain bread and water. Wesley believed that fasting and prayer empowered him and his fellow preachers to influence their ministries positively. The Methodist movement's growth is often attributed to Wesley's dedication to fasting and prayer. 3. Rotation fast. The rotation fast is primarily used for medical purposes. It helps individuals determine their reaction or allergy to specific food groups and cleanse their system. This fast involves undertaking a normal or absolute fast for 1 day, followed by introducing and consuming one new food group each day for 6 days. By rotating among different food groups, one can identify which food is causing physical problems through the process of elimination, choosing a fast. When selecting a fast, several factors should be considered, such as your specific situation, experience with fasting, and comfort level. Here are some guidelines. 1. First-time fasting. If you are new to fasting, it is advisable to start with a one-day fast, such as the Yom Kippur fast. This allows you to become familiar with the fasting process without overwhelming your body. As you gain experience, you can gradually extend the duration of your fasts. 2. Matching your fast. Align the type of fast with the intention behind your fast. For routine requests, a normal fast is suitable. For more serious or challenging issues, consider a fast with more stringent requirements. The goal is to find a balance that matches your spiritual aspirations and comfort level. 3. Comfort factor. Choose a fast that allows you to feel at peace with your decision. Avoid feeling guilty or doubting yourself. Fasting should not be about external appearances, but rather a personal journey of spiritual growth. Select a fast that resonates with you and enables you to maintain a positive mindset throughout the process. 4. Timing factor. Consider your weekly schedule and any upcoming events when deciding the duration and timing of your fast. Avoid fasting during holidays or significant celebrations when it may interfere with communal or family gatherings. It is also recommended not to start with an extended fast without prior experience, as it is essential to understand how your body and emotions may react. Fasting holds immense spiritual significance, and its practice has been embraced by individuals throughout history. By abstaining from food or specific types of food, fasting allows individuals to deepen their connection with the divine, seek spiritual growth, and demonstrate discipline and self-control. Different types of fasting, such as the partial fast, John Wesley's fast, and rotation fast, offer various approaches to incorporating fasting into one's spiritual journey. When choosing a fast, it is crucial to consider factors such as experience, comfort, and alignment with your intentions. Ultimately, fasting should be a personal and sincere practice that fosters a deeper connection with God and brings about spiritual transformation.